Wisconsin Conservatory of Music has a new fellowship program for Black and Latinx musicians, and joining us this morning is Mikyle Johnson, who you just heard from and saw there on the piano, as well as John Bragle with the Conservatory. Both of you, thank you so much for being here. This is pretty exciting to talk about this. I'm going to get to you and your talent here in just a minute, because watching that clip is just, that was only like 5-6 seconds. And
let's get back to
that. Mind-blowing to me. But talk to us about this new fellowship program that the Conservatory is launching.
So this was an opportunity that we saw to leverage the relationship that we have with area schools around the Milwaukee area and connect with musicians who are early or mid-career or amazing career like Dr. Johnson here, and connect them with students who haven't met many musicians who look like them. And that was really kind of the germ of the idea. And then it was all about kind of creating the opportunity, and then we were so fortunate to have wonderful conversations with my friend here, Mikyle.
Yeah, and how important or how big is the need when we talk about making sure that the representation is there in this field of classical music?
It's incredibly important. I'm going to leave that topic to Mikyle to speak about specifically, but you know, when we look at what we can do as the Conservatory of Music within Milwaukee, this is the type of program that we view as a win-win for everybody. We are a better institution for having Mikyle be a part of it. All of the students who he's impacting are the better for having an opportunity to work with him.
Yeah, Mikyle, you've been a part of the program for a couple of months now. I was doing a little bit of research on you. You said that a lot of why you wanted to do this is because you didn't have a lot of role models when you were younger, of people who looked like you doing classical music.
Yes, there were a lot of persons in Jamaica who've made a significant impact that were, we would say, far-reaching, but in terms of the general scope of what you've learned, what you've been expected to learn, a lot of that revolved around European or Eurocentric ideas. And so to find a way, is that not until the end of my doctorate degree that I found that there were composers of a larger scale who were African American or who were of Africa and the diaspora. I just thought that, you know, everything was just white male, and then I was starting to get into the female realm, and then you're starting to see how a lot of this had been very jaded. And so to kind of concentrate that and be more intentional with saying that, hey, people who look like me do exist, people who look like me are capable of this kind of artistry, and also I you know, invite you to use that as an impetus to create as well. And
so how are you doing that now through this fellowship program and actually working in these schools right here in Milwaukee?
So through the schools, it's been a great honor because I, being a representation of, you know, that kind of possibility in real time, speaks to the students very well, having them engage with music in a way that they never thought it would be possible, having other instrumentalists come in and do concerts for the kids so that they also can feel like they can be a part of that. Not very often they get, you know, to hold a ticket to go to a concert, but they're bringing it into the school so they don't really have to go too far. Yeah. So that would be a really good opportunity for them to see that, hey, you know, it's possible for me too, and I can get close to the instruments, hear what they sound like, and use that as a way of inspiring them to chase their dreams.
Yeah, that is so cool. Your talent is undeniable. It is so cool to see. And really quickly, I only have about 10 seconds with you guys, but you are still looking for applicants to apply for this fellowship.
That's correct. So anybody interested can visit our website and they can find the application on there. I believe you have it up on the Chiron, but www.wcmusic.org.
Okay, and we're going to make sure to link that on our website, WISN.com. Thank you guys for being here, for what you're doing in the community. We appreciate it.
Thank you.